welcome back to our channel. We're Dos Cavazos, and this is My Hero Academia Season 5, Episode 20.
So last episode, we found out that Kurigiri is actually Eraserhead and President Mike's childhood friend.
Wow.
And it was a really emotional episode. I don't think we've ever seen Eraserhead like that before.
Yeah, it was a really great episode. Just kind of seeing it from someone's perspective of someone's friend who was taken basically by All for One and kind of created into this new
He kind of called him a Nomu, though.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of interesting because obviously we've seen, like, you know, the iteration of Nomus that we've had to fight before. We did have that variation of one in the end of last season who fought Endeavor, which we found out a little about him, too, that he was actually a caged fighter, and that's actually why he was so intense about everything.
Yeah. This actually was pointed out to us. It completely flew over our head, but the doctor from the last episode was the same doctor from the first episode that told Deku basically that he didn't have a quirk, if I remember correctly.
What's the connection there?
Yeah,
Don't tell us, but...
Oh gosh, yeah. There's obviously a reason that it's the exact same doctor, or like that's intentional. So, like, what does that mean? Why were they so involved with Deku early on at a young age?
Yeah. This episode is called My Villain Academia, which sounds good enough as it is, but I feel like I've heard about this title before at some point in time. I don't know anything about it, but I mean, just as like the trajectory of the season has gone, we've talked about how we haven't gotten as much information as we would have liked about the League of Villains and the Liberation Army, and I'm really excited because I really feel like this episode could give us a lot of answers. All right, well, if you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe and check out our Patreon if you want to watch our full-length reactions.
We also do have a second channel called Dos Cavazos IRL, where we do vlogs and other things like that. If you want to check that out, the link's down below.
All right, let's jump into this episode.
We've been weakened considerably ever since we lost All for One. To do what must be done, we'll have to advance to the next stage. He left formidable power behind for us. You only have to say the word, and I will retrieve that power for you.
Wow.
2 months ago.
A certain day in October. Okay, so this is when it happened, right? When he, like, walked?
Oh, wait, no, this is that big dude.
Oh, okay. Gigomantia.
So are you really the leader who will succeed All for One?
Okay, that's exciting!
We saw him for like such a quick second.
Yeah.
Which, you know, going back to it, that's when freaking what's his face ended up catching him. Gran Torino.
Mm-hmm. Oh!
Oh shit! That looked cool.
Kurigiri, is this the formidable power left by All for One? I'm not impressed.
Don't talk shit, you get hit.
Why would you do this All for One? I can't believe it! Tell me why, Master!
Is he crying?
He's too weak
Yeah.
to deserve this!
Oh!
And after All Might weakened him, All for One knew defeat was inevitable. So he hid Gigantomachia from view. He thought
Playing the
many
long
steps
game.
ahead and planned meticulously. He did this so that no matter what might become of him, he would be certain that his hopes and dreams would live on. Gigantomachia is loyal. That's what led him down the path of despair you see now.
So you're saying we gotta make this big baby like us?
Oh shit. I mean, it was his personal bodyguard.
Machia. Machia.
He's got like a freaking word that stops him. Yeah. That's what it looks like.
He's like
It's like the Winter Soldier. Yeah.
That's a recording of All for One's voice.
Oh. He's rubbing his face against it.
What is he up to?
Mad scientist types make no...
Really, Gene? Gross. How immature can you...
Oh, what the heck?
This is the same quirk All for One used at Camino.
You nasty, that stinks!
What is all this?
No moves.
Endless no-moves.
I knew you had a keen pair of eyes. These little ones are different.
This is All for One's man behind the chair. Or man on the chair behind the computer, I guess.
I notice you've let your hair grow out. It suits you. Your father and the others, are they doing well?
Father and the others.
Yeah.
My life, my tech, my expertise, and of course my little ones here are dedicated to the great All for One. Up until now, you've been getting by on my scraps, my leftovers. I just have to be cautious. I need to make quite sure that you're worthy of receiving the fruits of my labor. What can you show me to change my mind, Tomura Shigaraki?
Stop it, Tento! When I put these on my body, there's an uncontrollable rage that spills over. Ever since that day, I've been thinking about what happened.
Tell us what happened. Oh.
Okay, backstory.
People thought a hero will come. Sooner or later, a hero will help him. Who turned the world so upside down that a
She was
child
manipulating him when he was a kid.
Not anymore. I am here.
Oh my gosh.
I apologize for the cramped quarters, but as of today, this is your room.
What are you going to teach me about?
Doctor,
Yes, sir.
He was cute.
this is all that remains of your family. A rare quirk
Oh my
manifesting a
gosh.
mutation no one's seen before. And you murdered your loved ones simply by putting your hands on it.
So he has a mutation too, like Eri, right?
But did he though?
Oh, there was a corgi too. Oh my gosh, his whole family.
Are those the hands he puts on him? Oh my gosh.
Even if your mind has forgotten, your body remembers, and the feelings remain locked in your heart. As your master, I will help you give purpose to that frustration.
Though it still makes me feel sick to my stomach. Wearing them washes calmness over me. Don't you think that's bizarre?
They're all just like blank stares.
Yeah.
Even if we bring down Hero Society, even if I rule the ruins from the shadows, that's why I despise all in existence. All that lives and breathes presses on the weight in my soul. When this world falls, we'll see the glorious new horizon that awaits. So why not lend me a hand?
You sound like a kid playing a bad guy. I'm amazed you got through it with a straight face. A villain's philosophy is worthless if he can't bring his dreams to life.
Tomura, those ideas of yours seem a little bit deranged, if you ask me.
That big guy may be dense, but he's valuable to us both. Though, unlike me, he hasn't accepted you as his own. If you can make Gigantomachia submit to you, then everything I have will be yours to use.
Ugh. Oh, it was the clone. It's like fighting a titan.
Go for the back of his neck.
Dr. Ujiko promised that he'd give us his full support, but only under one massive condition, that we rein in Gigantomachia. And in the month and a half since then, Shigaraki has come no closer to proving his strength to the giant and winning him over.
Oh, really?
The big guy wages a full-out assault for 48 hours and 44 minutes straight, only taking breaks to sleep.
Oh my gosh.
Lasts for about 3 hours, then he starts the whole cycle
Damn.
over again.
Wow. He's like impossible to beat.
His body gets bigger during combat. Somehow, he's always able to find Shigaraki no matter where he hides.
My goodness.
The monster's asleep. As massive as he is, you'd think he'd stop to eat more.
Big dumb bastard's slowing down a lot. I'm way closer to
sure
feeling
about
when this
that?
whole substance.
I feel like you gotta.
rethink your strategy.
I know you need to find a weakness. I don't feel like you gotta wear him out.
Kid chasing after a dream.
Oh.
It's you.
Oh, I thought somebody
Wait,
farted or
what?
somebody's stomach was growling.
Why the hell haven't you been answering Mr. Compress's calls? You're the absolute worst, man.
Oops, that would be our fault. Sorry. Don't be mad at him.
Following yesterday's events, another finger has been found.
Finger.
Sukuna. I'm just kidding.
Who the hell are you?
Is this when they meet with the Liberation Army?
I'm the Grand Commander of the Meta Liberation Army. The name's Redestro. I've got your broker right here. And he's still alive, of course. Our objective is to liberate all metahumans. To demolish the existing framework and rebuild a world where people can be themselves. I don't see any reason why we should oppose that.
Is he trying to exploit our name like the Yakuza?
We're busy now. I'll hear about your little revolution. Club
Gotta go fight
once
a
our
giant.
task here's complete.
While you're taking a breather, why not just hear me out? Friend has told me what a tight-knit group you are. I imagine he's determined to remain hidden in the shadows, ever careful to avoid the prying eyes of heroes and police.
Sadly, he never thought someone might be lurking in those same shadows, waiting to pounce.
Not only that, but he didn't so much as wince when we started taking his fingers, nor did he give you up. But as for that client list, we were able to recover.
So it was his fingers?
I have 116,516 hidden warriors.
Wow.
This guy must be bluffing.
Niigata, huh? How's the weather there keeping those mountains?
Too late, I'm afraid. We're watching you right now, thanks to our satellite.
One quick call and they'll drop everything and have you surrounded.
I do appreciate the advanced warning. Now, what do you want from us?
I insist the leader of this revolution bear the name Destro. Your organization has become too well known. Therefore, we shall crush you. thus signaling the revival of the Liberation Army.
Huh.
Will you stand against us and be destroyed, or do nothing and be captured by the heroes? You must decide, Shigaraki.
Well, that's not much of a choice.
Where's Dami?
At the moment, just outside the border between Mie and Shiga.
Okay, we'll need a transport.
You're taking the bait? What if they really have 110,000 people? We'll be dead!
The Giant's not invincible. After a month and a half of fighting him, it's clear to me. But he does have an excess of HP. And no matter where I am, he'll sniff me out and hunt me.
Oh, he's gonna go down there and follow.
Oh, they're gonna use him.
Yeah.
They're going to send Gigantomachia right into the fray and
Oh,
let him face all those fighters.
How sneaky. And what do you do if it turns out that Redestro is bluffing?
Then he'll die, simple as that. And they won't even know what hit him.
So that gave us context too a little bit.
Yeah. We still need to see like what happens after that,
Right.
though, because it seems like they have a little bit more of a relationship, though.
Is that what we saw, the like flashback to when he was
When
all
he was all destroyed?
Yeah, that has to be it, right?
I think so.
Or is that something else?
I forgot when they didn't like a time flash on like the screen.
Yeah.
So it may have been around this time because I think this is like sometime in October. It said.
Yeah, like 2 months ago. I do really love how they did the logo for that.
Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah. Getting a little bit more context, I feel like I'm still a little bit confused because obviously we knew about the connection between the Liberation Army and the League of Villains, but it kind of seemed like the League of Villains was kind of calling a lot of the shots for the Liberation Army earlier in the season. So I'm assuming that these events are going to transpire as we progress into the next episode. And then, well, I guess we'll see how it happens, you know, and what sort of connections they were to either have some sort of alliance or, you know, they just took them over.
Yeah, it seemed like this gave us some context to how they initially got into cahoots, I guess is the word, you know,
Cahoots, yeah, that's a funny word.
got connected.
Yeah.
And obviously it wasn't the way we expected. The Meta Liberation Army came on very strong, basically like, we're gonna take you out or you're gonna get caught.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what we saw earlier this season, like you said, so I'm kind of curious, like, what events are going to happen that's going to change this. So Shigaraki also needs to get Gigantomachia to submit to him, basically to prove his power.
Yeah.
So that he can get the doctor to do whatever he's going to do on him. So.
Which I feel like undoubtedly he ends up doing because I feel like that's what we saw at the end of the last episode where he had like stuff in his back and you saw a whole bunch of crazy shit. We still didn't really get a whole lot of details about the doctor besides the fact that he is an associate of All for One. He is pretty much fulfilling what he wanted him to do. Still feel like there's a connection as to why he was the one who told Deku he didn't have a quirk. And I want those answers. I feel like, you know, All for One has wargamed this out. Everything. Even like, you know, finding Shigaraki. That's why I was questioning in the episode whether Shigaraki actually killed his parents or not. Or his whole family, I guess. Because it seems like All for One would have been watching him before that, and he would have actually known, obviously, the relationship between him and Nana. So it just kind of makes me wonder because he doesn't remember anything before that. Is it just because of the traumatic experience that he actually killed his whole family, and that's why he can't really remember anything? Or did All for One do something else there? So that he could have that trauma, so that he could manipulate him into whatever he wanted him to be. It was also crazy to find out that the hands on Shigaraki are actually his family's hands.
I think it was Shigaraki who did it, because he did say that you had a I mean, he could have been lying, but I feel like it was because he said, like, you had a mutation, and I remember Eri also had a mutation type quirk, and she had accidentally killed her parents too, I think, because I think it's just like the way it manifested was just like all at once and they didn't know or something like that. So it's possible that he did it and like blocked it out, but then All for One clearly, regardless whether he did something that directly caused it or it just happened, he exploited the situation nonetheless and like is now like grooming him to become this ultimate villain later on.
Regardless, this whole like villain arc and focusing on the villains, it's very exciting to me. It's interesting how they've had the trajectory of the season play out. Now that we're on episode 20, I think there's only usually 25 episodes a season, so we only have 5 episodes to go. So there's still so much more story, like about everything that they've teased this season, from Deku's quirks to the Meta Liberation Army and, you know, the League of Villains. It seems like we're not getting back to Deku's quirks anytime soon. I feel like that's like a next season type of thing. And if I had to guess, I feel like there's probably going to be several episodes that play out here with the League of Villains, and we're probably not going to really see much of our guys until next season.
Yeah, I get what people were saying, that this kind of was out of order, I guess, the, like, chronologically, I don't know, with the story arcs, and I get that. I'm not really 100% sure why they did that. But maybe like once we finish the season in entirety, we'll be like, oh yeah, like that made sense why they gave it to us in pieces. I'm not sure.
If I had to guess, just off the top of my head, it's probably because, like the first arc of the season, even though we got to see, Deku has like these abilities that we're going to end up discovering, it's probably pales in comparison to like what we're about to see here in terms of like the scope of things, which I mean it's still a massive thing, but it's just his first quirk that manifested. Well, not really his first quirk that manifested, but his first of like the 7. So we got to see that, and then this one I feel like is just like a really big story arc to end it on, because I mean we're getting so much backstory here. We're actually finding about Shigaraki,
which is exciting,
making the connection here with the Liberation Army, which is also too how they were able to tease Hawks possibly being the villain or one of the villains at the end of that episode. Like earlier, I think it was like the first episode, we were like, oh my gosh, it's Hawks. And then we found out it wasn't really Hawks.
Yeah. Which I'm glad.
Yeah, exactly. But I still say, because of the Liberation Army here, talking about how they infiltrated everything, that freaking traitor at UA is working for them. Like, I just freaking know it. Like,
we gotta come back to the traitor.
I mean, it's just like, they don't bring it up that often. They name dropped it like relatively recently, but I feel like they're working for the Liberation Army, and like I wonder who.
Student.
A student, you think?
Yeah, I don't know who, and I don't know what context. Maybe in the other class, but I mean, I can't even imagine if it was somebody in our like class 1A.
Yeah, or just one of like the important teachers too.
Oh yeah.
I know we
Midnight. I'm just kidding.
I was always saying Principal Nezu because of how like violent he was from like when he was on that wrecking machine.
Oh, he's small, but he has a dark side. All right, well, if you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you can stay notified for all of our future videos.
And also, if you want to watch our full-length reactions to this series, we upload them on our Patreon. The link's down in the description below.
All right, we'll see you all next time.
Bye, everyone.